Hey, what's up, crew? It's Patrick with the Hot Topic Podcast, and it's time for another question of the day. Let's see what chat has in store for us today. Hey, chat, do you have a question of the day for me?
I do. Here's one for you. What's the biggest mistake dealerships make when hiring sales professionals? I think that could spark some really good discussion.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to tell you there's two right off the top of my head. I mean, obviously, this is such a broad subject. We can keep going on this. But number one, generalization. And the second one is not having a clear defined role and responsibilities of a sales professional, whether you're new or whether you're a veteran. Dealerships in general don't have a set plan for you. But let's start with number one, generalization. I confidently feel that sales organizations, whether it be automobile dealerships, commercial sales departments, anything from heavy equipment, light equipment, rental organization, it doesn't matter. We generalize salespeople in a way that we think sales are just sales, and that's simply not the case at all. But sales organizations will continue to label salespeople as all encompassing, meaning if they can sell ice or makeup or heavy equipment, sales is sales. And let's be honest, that again, that's just simply not the case. So the number one thing is stop generalizing salespeople. You need to quantify what a sales professional has the capability of doing. And that leads to the second part of defining roles and responsibilities. Most salespeople that are hired into a retail sales role at a dealership generally are told they have an unlimited, uncapped potential of making as much money as they want to make. And I will agree that is true. However, it is somewhat misaligned. And here's what I mean by that. When you hire or are in the interview process of hiring a sales professional, number one, you need to clearly define that role and the responsibilities. So, for example, that sales professional needs to know what is their quota realistically. So, let's say, for example, you hire into a sales team and they tell you, hey, you need to sell 25 cars a month. That's great. But is that realistic? I don't know. Probably not. So let's be realistic and break that down into more bite sized chunks. We know that a new car sales professional is going to be asked to perform a lot of things in that first 90 days that they're there. Number one, there's a lot of tests that they're going to have to take that the OEM requires for them to be able to sell vehicles. So let's be honest, in that first 90 days, generally a new salesperson is not going to have a whole lot of opportunities to sell. Secondly, let's be honest with them. If this is their first gig into automobile sales, tell them that first 3 months, 6 months, maybe even a year, they're going to be a glorified door greeter. I can't tell you how many times you see new professionals standing out, opening doors for people thinking they're an up and they're not really an up. They're there to see somebody else. So let's be honest with that. And let's also tell them, hey, in these first 6 months, I don't really expect you to sell a whole lot of vehicles, but I do want you to understand the culture of our dealership. That will go a long way in preventing some disappointment along the path of that sales professional. Also, be clear to them if your requirements that they're going to need to make 100 or 200 phone calls in a day, be upfront about that. Don't wait to hire somebody and then spring that on them. They may not be conditioned to make those phone calls. Now, keep in mind, someone's willingness and someone's ability are two different things. Are they willing? Probably. Are they able? They may not be. And unless you fully disclose that before you go through the interview process, they're going to be disappointed and you're going to be disappointed in the results. So be totally transparent. Look, within X number of months, we want you selling X number of cars. And during that time, we want you making whatever the number is. If it's 100 phone calls a month, if it's 100 phone calls a week, if it's 100 phone calls a day, whatever the case is, be transparent. That way, the sales pro that you're interviewing knows going in what the expectation is and what it's going to take to satisfy whatever KPIs that a dealership has for that sales pro. Someone that's not prepared for what may be in store for them will lead to them generally trying to find reasons as to why they didn't do it or why they can't do it. Another one is here over the last few years is requiring your salespeople to be influencers. to get your phone to do walk around videos every day or twice a day sometimes. Maybe it's 3 times a day. Just because someone has a smartphone with a camera does not mean they're comfortable about being in front of the camera and talking about themselves. But if that's a requirement from your dealership, be upfront and honest about it. So transparency, that's huge whenever it comes to expectations of role and responsibilities. Take them through the process of what it takes to get a car deal done from the time that they are able to secure a potential customer all the way through the process of getting a deal done, all the different departments that they're going to have to work with. With that being said, there's two things: generalization, and not setting clear expectations of your sales pro and what you want them to do, and certainly over a timeline of when you want that done. All right. So, with all that being said, guys, thanks for joining me. If you like the content, give me a thumbs up. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. I'll keep making this content. You guys keep watching it. Okay. Until next time, tomorrow will be Wednesday, May the 20th for our question of the day. Until then, take care, guys, and be well.